Are your hips tight? I'm Dr. Chantelle Green with MyoLab, and let's get into it. One of the most common reasons that people experience hip tightness is actually that the hip flexors, the psoas muscle, are weak. And so one of the best things you can do is actually strengthen the hips to help lessen that tightness. So one of the exercises we can do is a standing march. You're going to stand up nice and strong. You want your core engaged this whole time, because if your core is not engaged, there's going to be cheating happening. So from that position, nice and strong, you are going to literally just march, picking up your feet and trying to get your knee as high as you can get it. Now with this, you want to make sure you're not tilting through the rest of your body. Your core is staying engaged the whole time. And you're just going to move back and forth. You're looking to create some muscle fatigue. So when your hips start getting tired, that's how you know that you've done enough. If you're finding this is taking too long and you're doing a lot of reps, one of the best things you can do is grab a band and put it around your feet. This is going to add more resistance to this motion. So when your core is engaged and you're lifting that foot, you're pushing against a resistance band. Up and down, back and forth, the exact same marching motion that we had before. One of the mobilizations you can do for your hip is a modification of that march, and we call it a hip hurdle. So instead of just coming up straight with the knee, we're then going to also move it out, around, and come back down. You're going to then reverse that, bringing your leg up from out the side, back to midline, and down. You may feel popping or clicking in the hip. If it's pain-free, it's pretty normal, but you probably want to move a little bit more slowly through those motions where that clicking is happening to start to mobilize the tendons in that space. Another psoas strengthening exercise that you can do is a similar marching type motion, but lying on your back on a bench. Now for this, when we engage our core, we're going to want to make sure that our back is nice and flat against the bench. One of the most common mistakes we see is people really arching their back up off, and that's because the core isn't engaged. So engaging that core is going to help keep your back neutral. From there, you're going to bring your legs up into this tabletop position, and you're going to extend one leg at a time. It's a bit of a bicycle motion back and forth, lengthening and extending that leg, using the hip flexor to stabilize that hip. If you need to progress this exercise, you can do so by putting a band around your feet. You're going to lay back and engage your core again. Now for this one, whatever foot you lift is the side that you're going to be working on, because we're going to be focusing on the eccentric motion. So you're going to lift up your right leg here, hold it at the top, and then very slowly you're trying to lower down. Now it's important that you're still engaged through your core and your low back so that your low back is flat and you're not arching and cheating through that motion. So again, we're focusing on a really slow eccentric lengthening and contraction at the same time in that psoas muscle. You can also do the same thing up in this position if you're finding it's a little too easy to be here. So again, we're going to strengthen out one leg and then very slowly pull it back in. This is a little bit more challenging because it works both sides at the same time. Another progression is to do this in a plank. So same plank as always, nice and engaged through your core. You're going to then draw your leg up towards your chest. What we're focusing on here is the hip flexion, nice and slow and controlled as we move that leg. You can also do this on an elbow supported plank down here, drawing that knee up. Thanks for watching.